Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dream Weavers podcast. Hi, everyone. And today, filling in for the incredible Deanna, I have, as you hear us talk about her so much, the incomparable Kim Mo. She's our
Hello.
fill-in co-host today. Thank you, Kim.
You're most welcome.
Welcome. And as our guest today, we have the lovely, beautiful Crystal. How you doing, friend?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I think as we already talked about, we're riding a little bit of a spiritual high, so life is
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
No
feeling
wine
this
needed.
spiritual. Okay, so guys, a little bit of backstory before we were doing a little bit of preamble and we were talking about maybe a glass of wine or not, but we decided not in this moment. And then we started laughing and giggling about everything that was going on. Just things that come out of our mouths. And so we were talking about a spiritual high. No wine needed. That's what Crystal meant right there. No wine needed. So Kim, number one, thank you again so much for being here with us today. On the spur of the moment, I mean, it was super last minute. So thank you. And Crystal, we're excited. I'm so excited to hear about you, your story, and all the things, girlfriend.
Okay, so I'm a Reiki master. I do spirit release therapy, spirit alignment therapy, and I've been volunteering at a hospice center for about the last 6 months, applying all of those modalities. I've always had kind of wild experiences since I was a kid, just scary things happening, and kind of pushed it away until my son started having the same experiences and tried to figure out, what's going on here. So I got into Reiki. I went to my first Reiki attunement without ever having a session myself. And I just knew that I needed to be there. I didn't know why exactly. I just knew that it was going to open some doors for me to figure some things out. And it certainly did.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
since learning Reiki, I guess it's been about 3 years now. I've worked on developing my mediumship skills. Um, Went to Scotland where I met Kim in person. We did the mediumship group together before that. But actually, she was my first partner. We did
Mm,
that once. Yep.
that's so
So,
exciting.
yeah, it's been a journey.
So at the hospice center, I think you do kind of a death doula type situation. Is that correct?
Not yet. So that's my plan. They have another class this fall that I hope to get into. They want you to do something else for 6 months before they throw you into that. So I've just been doing Reiki there, but I also do clearings on the patients before I do the Reiki. And then I do lost soul rescues as well, where I check to see if or ensure that they've crossed over if they want to.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Talk about that from like start to finish. Take us through that entire process and what that looks like.
Well, for spirit release therapy, also known as spiritual clearings, I'll just connect to their higher selves and ensure that we have permission to do the clearing. And then my team will clear them of any entities, earthbounds, any parasites, implants, AI, just like we do with SCHH. I didn't mention that earlier. I also do that a little. Um, and then after that, I'll go give them a healing session. Sometimes I don't always have time. So I'm doing the clearing while I'm giving them Reiki, which I don't recommend because they do get attachments that way. But luckily, I recognize it right away. They kind of jump onto me, but I'm able to clear them immediately, luckily. And then, yeah, they seem like after I've gone a few times, they seem so much more clear spiritually, energetically. Their chakras will stay open after a few visits. So
And
just
so what
like,
kind of
you
changes do you see like when you're there in person? What does that look like?
so when I'm
Physically, what does that look like? You know what I mean? For somebody who might not understand this work, right? And who doesn't know what that looks like, what would they know to look for?
In the patient, they really just lay there mostly. I
Mhm.
mean, you don't really see a lot of changes physically unless
So
they're releasing something big, they will move around a little. Um,
okay.
yeah, they might jerk
So
a little.
so then how do you know that they're clear?
I check with my guides. Mhm.
Understood. And
Now
what
they
is
notice a
this?
difference afterwards, right? Like, they can tell a remarkable difference once you
Yeah.
have cleared them.
A lot of times they don't give me that feedback. The staff might. Yeah,
Very good.
because they might be challenging to deal with or overly emotional, and it might help them with that.
What will the staff say?
Just that they were more agreeable. Some of the
Wonderful.
some people come in with some pretty heavy stuff. I mean, as you can imagine, people who are older, they've never done a clearing, they don't have a belief system, they've had a really rough life. They've got a lot of stuff. So, and
Which was leading me to why would you do all this for them?
well, I was getting asked to do a lot of lost soul rescues where you check on someone who's passed and see if they crossed over. And then it just became apparent to me that I want to help people before they pass to ensure that they transition smoothly so they don't have to go through that
What a
confusion.
wonderful gift.
Say that again, Kim.
What a wonderful gift that would be to have that for those individuals, to have that sense of knowing that they've been released and let go, and then and for the clearings too, that you've helped clear those energies and help them
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that help people? The lost soul rescue.
Well, some people, when they pass, they get confused. Um, they don't want to cross over because they're scared of being
Hmm.
judged or where they might go.
Hmm.
So I'll just ask basically the angels primarily to assist them in taking them where they need to go on their evolutionary journey. That's my phrase I like to use. I think I've
On the
shared that with you
evolutionary
before.
journey.
Right.
That's a
Yeah,
good one. That is a good one. I
it
like
is.
that too.
Have you had any of them that when you've asked to have crossed over, if because some of them sometimes want to stay here,
Right.
even
I
though
was going to
it's,
mention that.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, it certainly happens, and we don't want to violate their free will, so I don't force anything on anyone. But if you if that happens, I would ask them to kind of put them in a bubble basically and go cross over and see if they like it and tell them they can come back if they decide
Oh,
they'd
just
rather
take them, go get a little glimpse and come
yeah,
back.
and
Yeah, even just to see that light. Yeah.
they never wanna
Oh,
come.
you can do that?
Mhm. If
How
it's a
amazing.
negotiation process. But if I'm doing a group lost soul rescue, because,
No.
a lot of people pass in a week's time, then I'll just basically go through the prayer, asking my team to assist them if they so desire, because it's not like the family is hiring me, asking me for a reading and to ensure that they did. So if it was a friend or someone asking me to do it for someone specifically, then I would have that conversation with them.
Hmm. And I was going to say, and so one of the benefits, so when this happens, so we've also, I think, most of the people in our generation anyway, has seen the movie The Sixth Sense, right?
Yeah, I don't remember it though.
Okay, well, the premise was, remember how he had to help the beings cross over by helping them, and once they got their purpose done, then they could cross over, or then they went on. Do you remember that?
It's been
I
a
was
while.
wondering I
Mhm.
was wondering if there was anything like that.
I
Like,
think
do people have any unfinished business here that they have to clear up and they have to, reconcile within
sure.
themselves before they cross over maybe?
A lot of times people, the living family members, have such intense grief that they're kind of holding on to them. So that helps to have that conversation with those people,
Mhm.
that they kind of have to let go a little.
So it's really more for the living than the dead.
It can be, certainly can be.
Mhm.
I had a
In
few of
that
those.
aspect.
And I haven't been doing this super long, like I said, 6 months. I've been doing some lost soul rescues for about 18 months, probably, when I started the clearings and everything. But the hospice care just started about 6 months ago.
Okay. Alrighty. And so what were you doing before that?
Just mediumship and clearings and spirit alignment therapy. So a
Okay.
year ago, we went to Scotland. Me and Kim and Attila, I think a couple others that were on here, Joe. Who
And
else?
Crystal.
No, not Crystal.
Joe, isn't it?
Joe.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe. Okay.
just Joe. Um, and then a bunch in Scotland, obviously. I think a few of them might come on here eventually. But yeah, so I've been doing block of 5. I haven't done one in a while, but that's always a good time. And SCHH I did last summer as well. I've just been doing those here and there when
Mhm.
people request them or really need them.
So tell us a little bit about the spirit alignment. What's all involved in that?
Well, of course, you know,
Hmm.
but basically teaching people how to clear themselves. I hate that some people feel they have to be dependent upon others to stay sovereign and get clearings all the time. And then, it induces a lot of anxiety and fear when they think, oh, I have this attachment and I can't get rid of it. And I have to rely on someone else to get rid of it for me. And I may not have money for a clearing. So I just want everyone to know that they can do that themselves. And most people nowadays, I just refer them to Steve Noble's YouTube. He has so many great meditations for all types of clearings and situations and traumatic past experiences. Yeah, so the spirit alignment therapy, the first week is just teaching the person how to clear themselves and providing a clearing report. I want to incorporate SCHH in that as well because you can't always clear things without people being aware of it too. And I don't like the idea of doing a clearing on somebody if they need to know why it happened or how it came to them, which you wouldn't find that out necessarily in a clearing. You can tell them, but it doesn't hit as hard as when you do the hypnosis session.
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
feel like it really sticks with their psyche so much better if they're part of the process. And then the other sessions, it's been a while since I've done them, but it's a lot of inner child healing. Everyone needs a womb healing session. They get a reading, and it's just so unique and individual for each person. So can't even say that it's necessarily a set schedule.
Or guideline anymore. I
Right.
am feeling the exact same way. When people talk about it, it's different for every person. I'm finding that to be very much the case. Every time I go to work with somebody, I'm seeing different things happening and different things shifting and moving and just us learning, us as practitioners learning how to keep up with the times because sometimes I feel some of these modalities, they haven't 100% kept up with the times, and I mean, look at how far AI's come in what the few months that it's been presented to, I guess the public, for lack of a better word, right now. And spirit moves so much faster than any technology possibly can. And I find that we're kind of going through the
Mhm.
same thing. This quickening that is upon us is really, it's a lot faster than I can wrap my head around, to be honest with you, a lot of times.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion. Is sometimes I'm just like, you're in there doing things and you're like, it just happens really quickly sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I get it. I understand. So talk about your mediumship. So what do you do? I think somebody possibly I may have heard somewhere somehow that you actually worked with the police and helping
No,
people find people.
no, I never worked with the police.
Oh, okay.
I did do a case on my own, though.
You did what on your own?
I did work a missing persons case on my own.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So someone had gone missing in this area and really tried hard to figure it out and find them because I knew where they were in the general area anyway. And actually went walking several times in this park and tried to find them. But
Mm,
I did not. However, I did get that they would be found eventually in the fall when the leaves fell by someone walking, and they did.
Mhm.
So I was good, I guess, for the family to get closure, if anything. But
mhm.
no, I didn't work with the police on that.
Is that one of your goals to add into your your business?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it comes to me, I certainly wouldn't turn it down. There was a missing boy this past weekend, and I wish more SRT therapists would do this type of work where connected with the abductor, and because the kid was taken off the street, cleared the abductor, and then asked, the angels to kind of impress upon him to return the kid safely, and he did.
It's a
Really?
Yeah.
really good idea.
Hmm.
Mm,
The
Changes
angels are
that.
really good at letting me
that's
out in traffic and all kinds of all kinds of ways they can help us.
Hmm. We just have to ask,
Right.
mhm. Okay. So, and the name of your company is the Monad Restorative.
Correct.
Okay. Talk about how you came to that
Monad
name.
being your divine spark within you. So that's you, like your pure essence,
Mm,
and restorative, getting you back to that because
mhm.
we have so much piled on with traumatic experiences, attachments, whatever. So the list goes on and on. So just getting us back to that baseline of who we're supposed to be, especially before we transition.
Perfect. And how do you want to help people with this? Like, just as an individual comes to you, you just kind of feel in and see what's going to be
Right.
best for them?
I think so. Yes. There's so many different ways and different ways to use those skills too.
I agree so much. I do.
Hmm.
Now you're a
Yeah,
veteran, right? Is that right?
I am.
At one time, you had spoken about maybe helping veterans, especially with
Yeah.
PTS, and all those kind of things. So,
Right. Especially with the SRT, because a lot of veterans, they come into the military, they've already had a less than desirable childhood, and they're probably trying to escape something. Not all, but a lot do. So they're already damaged within their chakras. And then they have these traumatic PTSD situations, and that just opens the door for attachments. And one of the first videos I watched when I was learning about SRT, when I found it, was Dr. Palmer. And he was working with a veteran in the UK, and he could hear, the client could hear voices of this family that was attached to him. The guy didn't know it, but he was very psychic. So he could actually hear his attachments having conversations for decades. And he had gone to their VA, and they had tried everything and didn't help him at all. But then he had a clearing as part of that session with Dr. Palmer, and he was fine after that.
hmm,
So I think I think the best way to do it is to create some sort of video, kind of explains everything, quickly about the energy body and how this happens and how attachments can latch onto people and how that can impact their lives in a really negative way after that, and how we can fix that for ourselves by clearing our own energy and bringing up our vibration every day to live our best lives. And the VA is coming around a little. I did see they're teaching yoga and meditation. I think a couple other things that were considered more holistic, but yeah, that's definitely on my to-do list.
If you go into the VA and you speak with people individually, um, they will work with you.
Hmm.
hmm I've gone
Yeah,
in
this
there and worked with.
information,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. It just needs to be out there more. I think in the US, it's not as well received as, say, Europe, for example. They're much more spiritual. But I think once it becomes common knowledge, and I see it more and more every day online, people will hopefully come around to these different therapies.
hmm They are. They're slowly but surely getting here. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think it's not so slow anymore. I think it's getting
Hmm.
there a lot faster than ever. Because I mean, look, we can even have these conversations now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, whereas before we couldn't.
Hmm.
So is that something else you want to do, like work with veterans, or I mean, because you understand it more,
Ideally, I would like
or
to teach
just,
people how to take care of it themselves, right? So people
yeah.
can be self sufficient and independent. So,
That's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you is what do you consider attachments
entities, earthbounds,
that are like dark or negative energies?
not always. Sometimes earthbounds are just scared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. But
Okay.
yes, I think a lot of times it is entities. I mean, you're not having suicidal thoughts because your nice mom didn't want to leave her kid, you know? That's something darker.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
What are you thinking as far as attachments too? Is like, because sometimes I mean, there are negative entities out there in the universe, and then sometimes we create our own
Oh, sure.
energy of that. So I kind of feel like that plays in it too. So it could be a whole spectrum of attachments, or just some personalities, and it could go into so many different things under
Sure.
that.
Yeah. I think about 30% of entities are thought forms, but certainly not all. It's a big misconception in the spiritual community is that we create them. But I think that happens sometimes.
Hmm.
I think once it's created, though, it can jump to other people as well.
Yeah, yeah, because it's out there. We've
Right.
created it in the universe, and so now it's available
Hmm.
to go to another person that has more light.
Yeah.
S- So what I'm understanding by listening to this conversation is you ladies are saying that you can actually create a thought in your head. It is a negative thought, and it can actually go to somebody else.
You're
It,
creating that energy. You're creating that orb, that energy, and just so you're putting it out there. Now it's created. So now what? It's either going to stay with you, or if you've released it, if you don't release it correctly, and what I think, it could go on to somebody else, and
mhm.
somebody else that's vibrating that low, that has
It
more, a
creates
little
its
bit more
own.
light.
Mm.
Hmm. It gains its own consciousness, I think, after a while, and then it's its own being.
Mm. Yep.
Hmm. How does it gain its own consciousness?
I don't know exactly.
It's just like with anything, like with a rock or anything, an object, once you set the energy to that rock, and this is just what I've been told, it has a consciousness, but it may not be to our level, but it has a consciousness. It may be
Mhm.
very minuscule, but if you're putting energy on something, just like kinetic, when you put energy to something, you're putting energy into that. So then it just helps them build that consciousness up. So that's kind of where I think of it as in that form.
Makes sense. I'm on your page.
Mhm.
Just never heard it described that way. So thank you. Yeah,
It's always nice to look at different things from totally different perspectives, you know?
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, who are you talking to? The one. Absolutely.
So I have a question on the block of five. You know, there's several different things that you do. How do you some of the processes that work, like the Hopoponopono, you know, part of it? How have you seen in your modalities when you've done those, how that helps an individual?
Well, honestly, that one brings up a lot of stuff. So that week is always very emotional.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that has a lot to do with self worth for me. I think for everybody, it kind of invokes that. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes really deep, doesn't it?
Have
Very
you
deep.
tried it yet, Ronnie?
Which one? The block of five?
The Ho'oponopono
Oh, yes.
every day for like a week straight, and you write down the words that you get in the mirror. Have you tried that?
No, the words I
Yeah.
get in the mirror?
So you stare at yourself in the mirror while listening to the song, and then you ask your higher self to give you a couple words. It could just be one, or it could be like three or four, and you write it down, and you do it for like 7 or 10 days, and then you read it back at the end. It's really interesting.
And then you sing the song back to forgive yourself or forgive somebody else for that, whatever it was trying to get you to release and let go. It's very
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Yeah.
No, but I'm game on to give this a go because I did the so there's the whole instead of the song, the prayer, the 4 lines, you say it for 3 minutes or so, you say it for so long before you go to sleep and when you wake up every morning. And then of course, 3 times a day for 30 days. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did that. And it's the clearing I received.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
It was a beautiful catalyst to a lot of things because exactly what you said, the things that it brings up,
Mm-hmm.
you are faced to see them. It's kind
Yeah.
of like doing the light body. When the light body brings you up and it says, hey, let's take a look at this. I felt very fortunate because I had already, it's interesting because I thought, oh, I've already done some of this through that. I had new things to look at that I hadn't because I
Yeah.
hadn't done the Ho'opono thing in a while. I still do it. I still do it. I don't do it the same way that it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's a tool. It's not a habit. I use the Ho'opono prayer, like I said, as a tool, not a habit. So when I encounter certain situations, that's when I start doing the chant. I'm chanting and praying.
Mm-hmm. Which light body meditation did you do that brought some stuff out? Was it the inner child one?
Um, I don't know. What's number 5, Kim?
I think it's I think it is inner child on the
I,
first one.
I
Yes.
I
don't.
like it, everybody.
Yeah, but I
Hmm.
was really, I gotta tell you, I even called Kim because, for those of you who are not aware, Kim is doing her beta light body class, and I'm one of the people, as well as Crystal, who are in it, and it's a
Yep.
really, as so is Deanna, and a couple of other people, and it's spectacular. The things that are coming up, it is so spectacular. Maybe it was the inner child work. I just remember, I think I called you, right, Kim? And I was
Hmm.
like, I was really proud because that would have broken rather me in another time,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and but I noticed that because I had done so much work and I was really proud of myself. I was like, I'm actually really proud of the work I've done here because man, I was able to see this and see this and see this, and they were like, it was good. It was really great stuff. I
Oh, yeah,
enjoyed it.
the inner healing and yeah, and it hits you at different times. You know, you could listen to it again and get something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a
Yeah.
layer with all our other modalities too as well. It peels back the layers and what you need to see right now and what you need to
Keep
take care of
peeling
before we
back
go
those layers.
come
It's
back to the
yeah.
next one and the next one. But yeah.
I normally use that one as part of the block of five for
Oh, do you?
the inner
Hmm.
child week, because everybody needs that one, right?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
But it invokes a lot. I had some suppressed memories, things that I didn't really remember from when I was little. I was like, wow, I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Because you know
Um,
your higher self is truly speaking to you, right? When you
Y-
don't have something in your conscious mind, and then it comes back up for you. It's like, wow.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Exactly. Yeah. True story. Oh yeah. So yeah, fun. So what else so how did you get here? How did you get to all this? Because wait a minute, you're a veteran, right?
I am
So what branch of the military were you in?
Air Force.
And what'd you do?
I was a linguist, Korean linguist.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that lead you to here?
Oh gosh. Well, like I said, I had always had scary experiences. Like one of my first childhood memories is seeing a little boy who looked like a shadow person, but I don't think he was negative, but he was talking to me while I was in bed from the doorway and just weird stuff like that. My bed being shaken. Then I would just have horrific nightmares. Weird things would happen. Like I thought my grandma was in my house because I kept having scary experiences. And then my stepmom calls me and she goes, "Your grandma came to me in a dream. She says you're in danger." So it wasn't even her bothering me. She was there to protect me. So
Nice.
yeah, everyone in the family has kind of got a little bit of this, but no one actively tried to pursue it, I guess, except for me.
Or talked about it, of course.
Yeah. And that's really a bad place to be. Because if you're psychic and you're not using psychic protection methods, then a lot of things are going to come and go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of
Yeah.
channeling from ones that you don't really want in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine. Um,
Oh, I can.
yeah. So really, I'd watched like ghost adventures and then scary stuff would happen in my house. And then I thought, oh, I'm just never going to watch this stuff again because it just brings up stuff for me. Uh, like all kinds of scary dreams. And it got really weird at one point. I used to watch it every Friday night when my kids were real little. And I put them to bed and turn it on. And there was like a month there where whatever scary thing happened in the show that Friday would happen in my house leading up to that show. And one episode, it was tapping light bulbs. I didn't sleep for an entire week because as soon as I would start to get into a deep sleep, I would hear a tapping on a light bulb. And then I watched the show that Friday and it was tapping on a light bulb. I was like, I'm done. I'm never watching this again. And that's when the grandma thing happened. And I felt bad because I blamed her and she was there to protect me. But I could sense, I felt her energy clearly. And then my stepmom called me out of the blue, which was even freakier. But my son started really having scary experiences. He said he saw blue men coming out of the ceiling. And just so happened, uh, I know this author from my hometown. Her name is Joni Mahan, and she is a medium and she writes ghost stories. She has a bunch of books, and she wrote a book about a shaman named Michael Robichaud. It's called Ruin of Souls. It comes from the St. Michael prayer. So she connected me with him, and he cleared the house, and he taught me how to do a sea salt ritual and all these things, and it's just, the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also had some pretty freaky experiences since then where I've known 3 people in my lifetime to have a full body possession in front of me where their head changed shape and their voice changed and their eyes went black. And most people never see this. I've seen it 3 times. And you never forget that when something like that happens. So I had learned Reiki at that point, but I'm thinking Reiki is not going to fix this. This is a
You're
real
like, that is not the tool I need right now. We're going to need a bigger knife. Yeah, we're going to need a bigger shovel. We're going to need a bigger tool, period. Yeah.
So I did some research on Facebook and some Reiki groups like, hey, this happened. What should I do? Of course, they're like, oh, just send them distant Reiki. No, I've been kicked out of so many Reiki groups. Like, you guys are ridiculous. So I found out about spirit release therapy, and then I saw Claire Woods doing an interview, and I was like, that's it. I'm sold. Like, she's going to be my teacher. This is what I need to learn. And that was almost 2 years ago now.
Hmm. She's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
So
Phenomenal
I
medium.
meant I meant Claire earlier, not Crystal. Dang, there's
oh,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
Claires and Crystals in my
Yes, there
head
are.
now.
That's true.
Yes,
There are.
there's a lot of you guys. I'm like, I have to keep the name straight. Yeah, that's who I was wondering if that's who you meant. Anyway, in
Yeah. So,
Scotland.
yeah. So she did our mediumship group on Zoom. And then at the end, some of us met in Scotland for the spirit alignment therapy. And that was
Yeah.
the trip of a lifetime for sure.
Yes. 100%
Um,
yes.
Very
what
cool
made it so
experience.
spectacular?
Oh gosh, just being in Scotland, being around so many other amazing mediums, and
Like-minded people, yeah.
yeah,
Just the energies, just the energies.
yes,
Even, she'd be doing, like readings, and the light bulbs would dim, because the energies were so astounding there, and they had took all the energy out of the lights, and then they would just
hmm
flicker back on, go back off, and it was just extremely powerful. It's really hard to describe. And then the drumming that we did and
hmm
things like that, it was just phenomenal.
yeah. Claire is definitely the best evidential medium I've ever seen.
Mhm.
hmm She did a show the last night we were there. I think it was like a Friday night, and a ton of people came. We crammed so many people in that room upstairs.
There's like 55 people in a
Yeah.
very, just in a little room. It's about the size of a living room, an average size.
Mm.
But yeah, I got a reading that night because I was just very blessed, and I'll never forget that.
It was a lot bigger than my living room, but I live in a townhouse. So your living rooms in Arizona are much bigger.
Where are
That's
you,
true.
Crystal?
I'm in Maryland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just amazing. Her readings are so spot on. And I
And
was
you had a really good reading there because the lady that drew the pictures
the
was a
money.
medium too, as well. She would start. I'll let you explain it because you know it
I
so much
no,
better.
I'm not explaining it on this. It's a secret.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking about that. Okay.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh, there was
That's
just
fair.
another teacher there. She was a medium, and she would just start speaking about just an individual that was coming through to her, and she start drawing their face because she could see their face.
Mhm.
And so when someone, if the crowd would look and say, "Oh my God, that's my blah blah blah," or whatever, and whoever
Mhm.
recognized that, and then she would just do a reading as she was finishing the coloring of the drawing, and then at the end you get to take that with you. So it was just
Oh my
wonderful.
gosh, that's so cool. I've heard of people doing that. That is so freaking cool.
Yeah, she's an amazing artist.
That's so cool. What's her name?
Oh gosh.
I can't remember her name.
Let
Okay,
me look it
that's all
up
right.
really quick. Her last name is Wilson.
Well, that's okay. We can get it later.
Alexis.
Oh
Alexis
yes.
Wilson.
Alexis Wilson. Thank you.
Yeah, and she's in Scotland, Glasgow.
Of
Amazing.
course. Yeah. Uh, I know.
So
So
tell us a little
different.
bit about your journey with SEHH. SE.
Yeah, SCHH.
Well, I did
My
the
mind went blank.
training in, I think it was May. It was right before we went to Scotland, which was actually pretty helpful because a lot of it
Made
definitely
sense.
coincides. And I haven't put a lot of time into getting the swap sessions done. I just do them as needed. Like when friends reach out and say, oh, like before a friend of ours, she couldn't clear herself. She's a very good medium. She always clears herself, no problem. And then she just couldn't for some reason. So I was like, hey, you want to do a session? Because she just started taking the training too. She was like, sure. And I think it ended up being 5 hours long.
Wow.
And we were both just beat after that. Um, so I've done a couple. I've done like, I think 3 now, but it's always amazing how well they go. I think
So she
because
got
you're,
her answers in
yeah,
that read in that. Very
yes,
good.
yeah, she loved it. But um, it's amazing how much I think your spirit team takes over during those sessions, especially. I don't know if it's because they're so lengthy, but it's almost like you become a different version of yourself, like a better, improved version.
Yeah. And you get messages along the way, even though it's for
Yes.
the client, you also get messages too. It's astounding.
Yeah, just
Well, I think that's why it's called quantum hypnotherapy, right? Is because you are using the quantum. And so it's you, your team. So you have like you and your team, and then you have them and their team, and it's
mhm,
all doing all the things. And honey,
mhm,
yeah, they get intense. They get a lot. I love it.
mhm.
It's my jam.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen to them while I'm writing so many notes of things that I'm getting. So I'm like having 2 or 3 conversations at once. And then the back brief takes, an hour.
So what takes an hour?
The back brief, like at the end when you tell them what you were getting when they were doing this,
Oh, yeah.
or telling them what they were saying if they don't remember.
Hmm. The post session. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually, what works for me is I like to tap in or meditate the night before.
Hmm.
The night before I'm doing somebody the next day, I meditate that night and I tap in and just see what their higher self, connect with my higher self to their higher self, see what they have to say.
Hmm.
So that way I kind of have a general idea of what I'm getting into, just a very broad, and especially that way in case any questions come up, because
Hmm.
um, you know this, it's all about asking the right question, right? And so I feel like that's what really helps is being able to ask the right questions for the client. So that way they get what they need at the time. Because those are those pertinent questions that sometimes I think that they may or may not bring in.
Hmm. Yeah, and I definitely get a lot of questions and then affirmations throughout the session for the end. It always ends
Oh
up
yeah.
being so long.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I
Yeah, I
think
was
it's why
talking about that.
I haven't done so many because I just don't have the time, if I'm trying to do them on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big chunk.
True. Mm-hmm. They are lengthy. It does take some time. You have to set aside about basically half a day.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I was just talking to somebody about that and finding ways to make them shorter, to do the same and get the same results and
Yeah.
making it shorter. And that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, and I'll do the spirit release therapy before the SCHH so they can go into it clear and then maybe state the intention, don't remove anything that they need to know or to talk to today to get some information for their best and highest good. And then try to do it that way, possibly. I know there are a lot of people right now talking about ways to make them more effective and shorter. And maybe not
Hmm.
more effective, but definitely.
Definitely
More
shorter.
impactful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes down to I think it's exactly what we were talking about that one time, Kim, with intention setting
Hmm.
or intention sessions, just tackling one thing, one or two things.
Yeah.
I like the shorter ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just do entity release in the first session, it's just easier to manage, I think, schedule wise.
Yeah, definitely do that first. I do the SRT first as well. That's the night before. And
Right.
then during the session, that's what I'm saying is I've been working with and playing with different ways to get them shorter. And that's what I came up with was what I call an intention session. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just one or two topics, just getting there, get in, get out.
Because you could do 2 hours just talking to your higher self, doing the questions
Hmm.
easily.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. That's
Any
why it's
plans for a book or anything like that?
I mean, I feel like that's going to happen at some point. I started writing a training manual this weekend for Reiki attunement. I finally put it together and I felt like I just word vomited everything I've learned the last few years onto paper. It was kind of good to get everything out of my head and somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but it ended up being like 20 pages just for just my own like unique way of doing things.
Awesome. Yeah. Any plans? Are
Good.
you going to be teaching that sometime in the future? Is down the road, or is that
I
a
think
goal?
so. Yeah, I think I'll eventually teach Reiki. I'd like to a couple times a year. I think I prefer in person. It's just so much more personal, but Zoom works just as well too.
So
So
this is a Reiki modality that you came up with?
not a different modality per se, but I do believe you don't even necessarily have to get attuned by a Reiki master to have that ability. You really just everyone has it within themselves, that innate ability to connect to source and have that healing energy sent to them just through intention and prayer.
Oh, so this is how to connect on your own.
Yes, but if I were teaching it, I think I would do it both ways. I think I would attune them and then explain like how you can do that yourself, just like a Reiki master can give them self ignitions after that point, and that's pretty much what they do.
Okay.
Hmm.
Understand now. Thank you. Hmm.
Yeah, you'll have
Yeah.
to do a refreshment kind of thing, 'cause it's been so long since I've done it, and then I kind of do some of that with the
Hmm.
psychic surgery. That's another part of the block of
Hmm.
5, doing the psychic surgery. But it's been so long since I went through the all that stuff, and I quit using it for quite a while. So,
Hmm.
so if you ever do advanced classes, I would love to do that. So,
Of course, yeah.
just kind of refresher, kind of thing.
Right. Well, I don't. Mine would most likely be sort of a refresher. I don't think learning the history of the lineages is really that important because I don't really think that's necessary. My opinion of it is different because I think it's been infiltrated along the way.
True. And
Mhm.
things have changed so much, and spirituality has changed so much since we've taken those courses. A
Right,
lot has changed.
That's what
right.
I say is how much things have changed and people have changed, and we're all waking up to our own, learning how to get in there and yeah, man, it's changed. It's not the same stuff anymore. I love it.
I have a question for you. It's when you got the dragon's breath attunement and things like that, that we did
Oh.
that program.
Hmm.
What do you feel that's different with those energies calling in the dragon's breath compared to the other guides that we utilize? I just want your opinion because I know I feel differently. It's a different kind of energy.
It is a different energy, and it uses the feet chakras more, which is very odd. But
Hmm.
when I activate it, I feel them opening. They must be closing while I'm, going through my day. But you can feel popping in your feet, which is so strange. Just like the meridians opening and everything.
Hmm.
Uh,
Ronnie was on here before, so she's talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
He was the one that did that for us, and
I
was it
found him in
beautiful?
a Reiki group actually on Facebook
Really? Oh, wow.
because he was saying something about how Reiki's been infiltrated and the lineages are kind of corrupt. And then you'll notice in Holy Fire 3 in the master manual, they went from attunements to placements, which is where instead of the master placing the symbols on the person and igniting them themselves, they just do basically a meditation, like what I was saying, and have the energy go through their sushumna nadi and into their heart and out their hands. But the reason for that, I believe, they didn't say it specifically, is because I believe the masters were transferring their attachments to the students, and that was a way to get around it. So I had questions about that, and then he was talking about it on a Facebook group, and I'm thinking, why can't we just channel the energy direct from Prime Creator or Source instead of needing, a middleman? And so he and I have similar opinions on that. So that's what I do when I do Reiki. I don't do holy fire. I don't do Sekum. Not saying that it's bad or anything. I
Mhm.
just want to keep that energy pure. And
Mhm.
the reason why is because I think it was my second attunement. Right after I was attuned, you lay down and you do like this meditation. And I had all these visions of this woman getting beaten up by this man. And it freaked me out a little bit. Like, what's going on here? Why am I seeing this? I don't know.
Wow.
That's a clue.
Yeah, it just didn't feel good. Had my concerns.
Hmm. I can imagine.
So, do you do any kind of medium readings? Use the oracle cards or anything like that?
Sometimes I will do a lot of recorded readings where if someone requests one, I'll record it on my phone and send it to them. I have occasionally done clearings and someone's family member steps forward and is like, I need to talk to them. And it turns into a clearing and a reading. Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Nice.
Well,
Well, they
that's
know that
fun.
you know how to do that type of thing, so they're like, "We're coming through."
Right, when I tune into their energy because somebody is around them. And that's usually why they want the clearings. There's something bad happening in their life, everything's going wrong, they're depressed, so they need a clearing, and then they've got family members around them trying to help them, protect them, and they
Mm,
definitely want to get their messages through.
makes
Very.
sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sweetie, do you have any parting words or anything that you would like to share with our audience before we say goodbye?
You can reach me at monadrestorative@gmail.com
All right. The
for
monad restorative or just monad restorative
just monadrestorative at
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Perfect.
Just send
Uh,
you an email, and they'll get a hold of you, and you do like a pre-chat and things like that, and see where
Yep,
they need to go from there. Awesome.
exactly. Yeah, everything's so personal that it's hard to say what someone might want or need.
Very
perfect.
true.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Crystal, for being here today.
Thank
It
you.
has been a true pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And Kim,
Yeah,
amazing job with the fill in and the assist. Thank you so much. So grateful.
went
All
really
right.
well.
And everybody out there, oh, I always have to remember stay blessed and stay blissed. That's what Deanna says. I have to remember that, Kim. But
Yes.
everybody out there, Deanna always does the outer saying, so let me try and remember. I know she says, please subscribe, please like, please comment, do all the things because we love to be interactive. If you guys would like or have any questions or want to get in touch with us, we love that. And stay blessed and stay blessed, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.